G'day Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur hippie here, having a break under a tree. Birds are singing, can't stop nature. And just when you can't get enough of Ange Postecoglou, I saw a little quick thing he did for Optus Sport. It was Ask Me Anything. And the question that really stood out was if you could pick any player from the past and put them in your team now, who would you pick? And who did he pick? He said, I'll pick a Spurs player, Glenn Hoddle. Because when he had the ball, there was always the feeling that something magical would happen, and he likes creative players. He's got good taste as old Ange, and he sort of summed up how I felt about Glenn Hoddle when I used to watch him play, because you would never know, you wouldn't have a clue. A bit like, and I'm feeling shades of that. Not that I'm saying these players are good as Glenn Hoddle, but that kind of player where, it's not just going to be a predictable pass or run here or there. You just know that they've got the confidence that no one can get the ball off them. And we were lucky in the 80s to have Glenn and Ozzy both like that, and Ricky Villiers and Tony Galvin and Graham Roberts and everyone. But that was a real nice touch. He's a classy old guy, is Ange, and just as we're sort of all in a state of, I think, euphoria over a game against Sheffield United. I mean, I still can't believe how happy everyone is, including myself, for just beating Sheffield United. It's amazing when you've got an atmosphere like that when you're playing, one of the less glamorous teams. No disrespect to Sheffield United. I used to live in Sheffield for a couple of years. Although Sheffield Wednesday was more my team. I did go to Bramall Lane and see us beat them 2-0 in the Littlewoods Cup. Great goal by Paul Gascoigne in 1991. That would have been. But when you've got such a huge atmosphere at White Hart Lane over a game like that, then the sky's the limit, isn't it? The fans are just carrying everything along at the moment. It's beautiful, and Ange knows that. There's something. I'll use Ange's word, magical about football, that when everyone is behind something, you don't know, just like Glenn Hoddle, you just don't know what's going to happen next. And who knows what's going to happen next? We're playing Arsenal on the weekend. They're playing PSV. So I thought I heard a rustle. Let me know if you see a crocodile behind me, won't you? So Arsenal are playing PSV with their lovable manager Arteta at the helm. I mean, that's a guy who'd like to have a meal with, wouldn't it? I'm sure he's on the top of everyone's list. 5 people, past or present, that you could have dinner with. Oh yeah, Mikel Arteta, so he could complain about, I don't know, too much salt in the soup or something. I don't know what he'd go on about. He doesn't seem like he's ever happy about anything, that guy. They're playing PSV Eindhoven. I did take the trouble to do a mild bit of research. I thought, well, what's PSV's disciplinary record like? And it's pretty good, unfortunately. 4 yellow cards so far, but they are top of the Eredivisie, so they're flying at the moment. I was hoping to see like 10 red cards or something like that, but maybe, I don't watch Dutch football. Maybe you have to break someone's ankle to get a yellow card. Let's hope for that. I want it to be called the Battle of Eindhoven or whatever, or some stupid name that they give football. It's only football games, isn't it? Football games. So let's hope that half of the Arsenal players end up in the hospital before we play them on the weekend. I was thinking about Europe in general, and towards the end of last season, I was thinking, I do like being in any European competition, even if it was that. Vauxhall, the Jewson Cup or something, that third division European thing that Stratford FC won last year. And now that Champions League is upon us, I'm actually pretty all right with it. I think at this stage of the build, going over and getting smashed by Barcelona or Real Madrid might not be the best of things. Bird flew by, another minor. But of course, if we were in Europe, I'd be saying, yeah, we're going to win. But, it gives us a lot of time to prepare for the Arsenal game. It's a big game. Ange likes adversity. And I think an away trip, even though it is a derby to the the Highbury, or whatever you call it these days. Ange has already done stuff like that way bigger and better with Celtic going to Ibrox. Had a pretty good record there. Alarm went off on my phone, just threw me there. So I think hopefully Ange will be preparing the players well, because it's something in recent years, and when I say recent years, 12 years, we haven't really got up for as much as Arsenal do. See, Arsenal seem to be able to lift their game against us, and we don't do it quite as well against them. So hopefully our new Ange Postecoglou spearheaded mentality will, and a clear out of the old leadership group, leadership group is up to the task this time. Now, despite our amazing start to the season, our best since 1965, and Ange's 50th home game without loss, and what I didn't realise, I looked at the stats of this. Well, no, actually, I read an article. I think it was a Japanese newspaper. I can't remember what it's called, but they explained it further. This is an incredible record. Not only is it 50 games since his last home defeat, which was at Yokohama in 2020, he's won 42 of them. So there's only 8 draws and 42 wins, which, I mean, how do you like them apples? But despite things going well with Spurs, I'm not a tinfoil hat wearer. Look, see, it's just a big slap end under my hat, you know. No tinfoil in there. You've got to question some of the media's attitude towards Tottenham Hotspur sometimes. I had a look on, just to see, despite that amazing result we had at Sheffield United, surely there's people on Talksport talking about this. But no, I could only see one article, and it was it was a picture of Rory Jennings' smug, hateable face next to a Spurs player, and the quote was, "Well, they haven't played anyone yet." Oh well, Rory, who's Chelsea played? Because last time I saw it, we smashed Bournemouth 2-0. What did you do? 0-0. I know there's this breed of pretty boy, too school for fan, I'll be your friend for extra clout. You know, Johnny come lately, I've just discovered football, and it's trendy and laddish. That I really don't like. You know, every club's got them. We've probably got them. I haven't bumped into ours yet. I suppose if we win a few trophies, we might get a few glory hunters in. I don't really want to find out. I don't want to have the name of Tottenham Hotspur besmirched by it. But, it's more about, I don't know, what T-shirt you're wearing and who does your hair than, I do my own hair, by the way, than talking about the football. And it's all about clickbait and, I don't know, silly debates between fans. That's something I'm really not, I can't see me doing that on this channel. What's the point in debating with like an Arsenal fan? I know other people do it, but not for me, because I'm not gonna listen. Why would I bother buying into any opinion that a fan from another club has and talks about it? I've mentioned a couple of times, Tottenham Hotspur is by far the greatest football team the world has ever seen. And if you have to ask the question why, well, you don't get it, do you? And I'm not going to debate why. That's just the way it is. So I went down a bit of an old-timey British wrestling wormhole. Big Daddy, Giant Haystacks, Fit Finlay, Mad Mick McManus, Don't Touch My Ears, all that sort of stuff. And they had a former wrestler on it, and he said, when asked the question, is wrestling fixed? He said, well, if you're asking that question, you're not going to be happy with the answer, whatever it is. And so that's my stance on Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur, to me, is the best football team ever, and that's it. I don't have to back that up with anything. I can't be asked. Why should I? You know, if you don't think the same, that's fine. You can think whatever you want. I'm not gonna debate it with you. So, you know, there's a few of these too cool for school people that, I don't know, even players of other clubs are less annoying than the ilk of Rory Jennings. That's why I don't watch him, you know. The only former player that really gets my goat is Martin Keown. I don't even mind like Ray Parlour. Ray Parlour's all, you know, he talks sense. Perry Grove seems all right, you know, but Martin Keown, he just seems to be, I don't know. I think he thinks his brain is a bit bigger than what it actually is. If you could, if you could, if you could, if you could buy a Martin Keown for what he's actually worth and sell him for what he thinks he's worth, you'd be a very, very wealthy man. There's just no beginning to his talent. Anyway, so we got the European football, and you know, I'm not looking at it with a jealous eye at the moment. I'm quite content with having time at the moment. Next year, when the build is much more on the way to completion, we'll have 2 more windows, then it'll be a different story. I think it's also because I was a bit jaded from our last foray into the Champions League, which was a lot of it was a hard watch, just like the rest of our season was. I don't know how we got through top of the group, and then last 16 was a complete debacle against AC Milan. And you know, if you're entering a competition, got to be in it to win it, man. You've got to be in it to win it. And if you're, you know, that's why my opinion of the European Cup is it was better, because to get into it, you had to win your country's division, and then you play for the top honours. Whereas if you sneak in 5th place, unless you've had unfortunate luck or you have a really good transfer window at the end of the year, are you really going to be able to compete? And if you're not really going to be able to compete, I know the money's good and all that, but I'm not interested in that. It's the sport, it's the fight, it's the battle that's the important thing in football. If you can't go toe to toe, there's no point in going in it. If you're distracted by other things, if you're, you know, just there to make up the numbers to earn a paycheck, that's not a good enough incentive. It's there to test yourself. That's the point in European football. And we've got a great history of European football at Tottenham, and I don't like seeing it besmirched by getting into it and doing rubbish. I want to get in there and take it by storm and have a really good run and go deep into it, like we did under Poch, like we did in the 80s, like we did in the 70s, 60s. We always went deep into these competitions. So for right now, I'm all right. I'm especially the depth of our squad. A couple of injuries and we could be in a bit of trouble. Let's let the other teams get some injuries and see how big their squads are. So that's my thoughts for the day, folks. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Thank you to everyone that's watching these little monologues. The channel's going really well, much better than I could have anticipated. Thanks for all your support out there. It's happy days being a Spurs fan. Peace and love, man, and come on you Spurs.